Web 1.0 is the term for the earliest version of the Internet from the 1990s to the early 2000s. It was characterized by read-only static websites and the first implementation of the World Wide Web. Web 1.0, Web 1, also known as the static web, is the term used to describe the first iteration of the Internet. It describes the Internet between the 1990s and early 2000s. It was a read-only ecosystem, where users consumed content published by a few website owners. The terms Web 1.0 and Web 2.0 first came up in 1999, 10 years after its invention, in an article by Darcy DiNucci. Originally a product of the U.S. Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, Web 1.0 was seen as the future of digital communication and information sharing. It was text-heavy and characterized by static, non-interactive pages, where consumers were mostly passive. Interestingly, user input took place offline. That is, Web 1 was text-heavy. Web 2.0 or Web 2 was a huge step up from static web pages. Also known as the social web, Web 2 describes the second iteration of the Internet, which is the web as we currently know it. It introduced rich user experiences like social media networks, media sharing, blogs, wikis, images, and appealing aesthetics. While Web 1 was a static, read-only web, Web 2 is interactive and dynamic. It also allows user participation through user feedback and reviews. It transitioned from a few individuals creating content to a massive boom of content creators. Web 1.0 refers to the early phase of the World Wide Web, characterized by static websites that primarily served as information repositories. Unlike its successor, Web 2.0, Web 1.0 sites did not allow for user interaction or content contributions. They presented information that remained largely unchanged and did not encourage return visits. This early web environment lacked features such as social networking, blogs, and web-based applications, which later became central to user engagement on the Internet. The term Web 1.0 emerged in relation to the development of Web 2.0, which introduced more interactive technologies allowing users to connect and collaborate online. While Web 1.0 was significant in laying the groundwork for the Internet, its static nature and proprietary software structures limited user participation. Despite its limitations, the Web 1.0 approach still finds relevance today, particularly for sites needing to maintain factual and objective information, such as official encyclopedic resources or informational pages for businesses. In these contexts, the absence of user editing helps preserve accuracy and reliability, contrasting with more dynamic sites where the risk of misinformation can be higher. Web 1.0 refers to the early stage of the World Wide Web, Web or WWW. A true definition of Web 1.0 is dependent on the definition of Web 2.0. Web 2.0 was coined by Dale Doherty of O'Reilly Media, who simply wished to use the term as the name for an Internet conference, the Web 2.0 conference. However, the term stuck, and people began attempting to define it. After Tim O'Reilly, the founder of O'Reilly Media, offered a lengthy definition of Web 2.0, there was a general consensus regarding its meaning. That consensus was that Web 2.0 refers to advancements on the Internet that allow people to connect through interactive technology. The use of 2.0 in the term made people think that there must also be a Web 1.0. This reasoning eventually led to the understanding that Web 1.0 refers to everything on the Internet that came before Web 2.0. Furthermore, Web 1.0 describes the web prior to the existence of social networking sites, blogs, wikis, and web-based applications. While some sites today are still based on the Web 1.0 approach, experts generally regard the Web 2.0 approach as more effective. Web 1.0 refers to the Internet prior to its evolution. A specific time frame for this advancement cannot be pinpointed. The web slowly evolved into a more interactive system over time due to the growth in popularity of social networking sites, such as MySpace and Facebook, and other platforms, such as YouTube and Twitter. Technological advancements including broadband internet, improved browsers, and the development of widgets also contributed to the web's evolution. Broadband is a type of high-speed data transmission that enables faster internet access. A browser is an application that finds and displays web content. Google Chrome and Mozilla Firefox are examples of web browsers. A widget is a computer element such as an icon, button, selection box, or pull-down menu that displays information and or responds to a user's actions. These technological advancements helped usher in the age of Web 2.0. According to O'Reilly, Web 1.0 has several features that separate it from Web 2.0. One of the main features of the Web 1.0 approach is that the websites are static, meaning they do not change. While these sites may include useful information, they do not typically give visitors a reason to return to the site. Conversely, Web 2.0 websites do change and encourage visitors to come back. For example, a Web 1.0 site might provide valuable information about a charitable organization, but that information is never updated. In contrast, a Web 2.0 site might include a frequently updated blog that informs visitors about the organization's latest initiatives. Another feature of Web 1.0 sites is that they are not interactive. A Web 1.0 site does not permit visitors to alter or contribute to the site in any way. An example of such a site is an informational site about a company. On the other hand, a Web 2.0 site allows visitors to make alterations and contributions, as is the case with Wikipedia. Web 1.0 sites also have applications that are proprietary, which means that only the owner of the application can modify it or create new applications based on it. For instance, a browser from Web 1.0 does not permit users to make modifications, whereas a browser from Web 2.0 allows users to build new applications from it. Although the Web 2.0 approach is considered more effective than the Web 1.0 approach, the Web 1.0 approach is still used today. Certain web pages might require the use of the Web 1.0 approach. One example might be the official website for an encyclopedia. Encyclopedia entries should be factual and objective. If an official encyclopedia site were based on the Web 2.0 approach, anyone with internet access would be able to edit the entries. Unfortunately, this might make the entries more prone to inaccuracy and personal bias. Therefore, a Web 1.0 approach would be a better choice for such a site. Wikipedia, which is an informational site but not an official encyclopedia site, provides a good example of the risks involved with the Web 2.0 approach. Visitors to Wikipedia can contribute to and edit articles on the site. However, the site's interactive nature means that people can add inaccurate facts, misleading information, or even their own opinions to articles, which compromises the accuracy and objectivity of the information on the site. A website for a restaurant that is strictly informational is another example where the Web 1.0 approach would work better than the Web 2.0 approach. If a restaurant owner wishes to create a site that just provides basic information, such as menu items and hours of operation, then a Web 1.0 approach would be ideal. An interactive Web 2.0 approach may give patrons the opportunity to post negative reviews on the site, which could deter others from dining at the restaurant. Web 1.0 was all about fetching and reading information. Web 2.0 is all about reading, writing, creating, and interacting with the end user. It was famously called the participative social web. Web 3.0 is the third generation of the World Wide Web, and is a vision of a decentralized web which is currently a work in progress. It is all about reading, writing, and owning. Web 1.0 refers to the first stage of the World Wide Web evolution. Earlier, there were only a few content creators in Web 1.0 with a huge majority of users who are consumers of content. Personal web pages were common, consisting mainly of static pages hosted on ISP-run web servers, or free web hosting services. In Web 1.0, advertisements on websites while surfing the internet are banned. Also, in Web 1.0, A photo is an online digital photography website, on which users could store, share, view, and print digital pictures. Web 1.0 is a content delivery network, CDN, that enables the showcase of the piece of information on the websites. It can be used as a personal website. It costs the user as per pages viewed. It has directories that enable users to retrieve a particular piece of information. The era of Web 1.0 was roughly from 1991 to 2004. Thank you for watching this video.